Hi and welcome back. This week I haven't got any exciting packages to open. Trying to behave myself a little bit and not buy quite so many books and concentrate a little bit more on my own writing. I had said before I was trying desperately to cut back on doing reviews, concentrate more on my own things, and then something very exciting happened, and the lovely Mother Horror, Sadie Hartman, recommended me as a reviewer for Scream magazine, so I wasn't really going to say no to that. So although I am focusing more on my own writing and less on reviewing for my own blog and things like that, I cannot wait to get my first reviews over to Scream magazine with some of my favourite books that I can talk about. So that's exciting. Other news is I did actually have one very special book package this week, and it was my own book. Well, not just me, with lots of other very, very talented ladies, people way, way more talented than me, and that was Graveyard Smash with Candisha Press. And you probably saw a lot of my posts saying just how super proud I was of being part of that. So everybody go to Candisha Press and buy Graveyard Smash. Jill, the editor who pulled it all together, absolutely phenomenal lady, and I owe so much to her. She's always spurring me on to do more, sending me subs, say go on, we need to do this together. She gives me so much confidence, and I will never be able to thank her enough. So Jill, thank you very much for that. I just want to mention Graham Reynolds as well, of the Highmore Werewolf books. He lives down the road from me, but because of COVID and everything that's been going on, we have yet to actually be able to get together for a cup of coffee. Hopefully we'll be doing that very soon, because he has helped me immensely with all of the work that I've done, going through it with a fine-tooth comb, and I probably wouldn't have anything published if it wasn't for Graham helping me. So Graham, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Okay, so today I haven't got any big unveiling or unboxing to do, so I thought I would actually do what I had first intended this channel to be, not just me waffling constantly, but some book reviews. As I've said before, I'm never going to be Cameron, I'm never going to be Well Red Beard or anything like that. All I will do is talk about a book I really love, tell you why, and be as honest as I can. So I have to start with my favourite writer in the world. Some people might know who that is. If you don't, it's this guy, Mr. Glenn Rolfe. And I cannot shout out enough how much I love Glenn Rolfe's work. He is my favourite writer ever, ever, ever. Small dedication up here. I've got or read most of his stuff now. I'm partway through Boomtown and Becoming on the Kindle, and I've read everything that I have in paperback, and just I will never be able to say enough about Glenn. But anyway, this is his latest book from Flame Tree, Until Summer Comes Around. Unfortunately, I would love this to have been my first review for Scream magazine, but you're not allowed to submit something to them if you have already reviewed it somewhere else. And because I love this book so much, I have reviewed it for at least 2, if not 3 sites, including The Horror Tree, Ginger Nuts of Horror, and I've talked about it a lot over at Nightworms. So, sorry Glenn, this one I can't review for Scream, even though I would have loved to have got you super loads of coverage for it. Anyway, the book says, Old Orchard Beach, Maine, summer of 1986. The pier, the tourists, and the blazing sunshine. It's all perfect for something in need of warm blood. For 15-year-old Rocky, the summer when the beachside town he lives in comes to life. But this summer brings her. A mysterious dark-haired girl named November walks into his world. Rocky's life is forever changed. The young couple quickly fall under the spell of summer love. Not everyone approves. November's brother Gabriel is the keeper of the family's horrifying secret, and Big Brother is always watching. Locals are missing. Worry turns to fear, and the community is on edge. Still, the beaches are packed, and the Ferris wheel turns as the tourists pour into town by the thousands, but many of them will never leave. Okay. So I first heard about this way back in January, and I was very lucky to be granted an ARC. And at that point, all I had read was that it was a mixture between Let the Right One In, The Lost Boys, and Stranger Things, because of the 80s vibe, with a little bit of Salem's Lot thrown in. And I thought to myself, hello, 80s nostalgia, I'm an 80s girl. I know I don't look it, but I was born back then, so any kind of thing with an 80s vibe is big at the moment, I know, but always good for nostalgia. The Lost Boys, possibly my favourite vampire film ever, close between that and I actually do love 30 Days of Night, From Dusk Till Dawn as well, but definitely up there in top 5. Salem's Lot, I know, is Glenn's favourite vampire Stephen King book as well. It's also mine, and is also the very first King book I ever read when I was only 9 years old. And yes, I didn't understand everything in it back then, but that was what led me to being the very sane person I am today, so well done for that. So what did I think of it? I think one of the reviews that I left on Ginger Nuts said basically, could I give it 1,000,000 stars, 1,000,000 out of 10. And I was on the official Flame Tree blog tour for this as well. And again, I just cannot say enough how perfect this book is. Rocky is a 15-year-old who we could all relate to. We will all see a little bit of ourselves in 15-year-old Rocky. He is just a wonderful character, and all of those feelings that he goes through when he meets November, all of the conflictions when he finds out a little bit more about her, I'm not giving any spoilers, it's so believable. And that's one of my favourite things about Glenn's characters, is you can relate to them. They are not somebody that you have no connection with. We can all see a little bit of ourselves in his characters, whether they be male or female, young or old. They are all people that are so real to life. Now, I have read Twilight for my sins, but I think that if you read a vampire book, this is my opinion, if I read a vampire book, I don't want my vampires to be friendly and glittery and all of that. I want some bloodshed in my vampire books, and yeah, definitely. We have the overarching love story, we have the nostalgia, but we have a badass mean vampire as well. So again, just perfect. There were little things like the references to the 80s music, the movies, just even the way that they were dressed, it all just resonates with. I know Stranger Things has just recently been at the pinnacle of people's TV, and American Horror Story 84, all that kind of stuff. There's a reason why those shows do well, and there's a reason why people are loving this book. Without gushing too much about Glenn and making myself seem like a bit of an arse, it's just his writing, okay? I fall in love with Glenn's books each and every time I read them, because I can just be in it. I can lose myself in the scenery. I've been to America, I've been to New England, I've never been to Maine, but in my mind I can see exactly what Glenn sees. That is the power of his description. And not a lot of writers can do that. Not a lot of writers can actually make you feel invested in the story and like you are one of the characters, and that's how this book makes you feel as well. Especially, you don't have to have grown up in the 80s to enjoy it, but I think especially for those of us of a certain age, then we can really put ourselves back in that time and appreciate it even more. So, what would I give Until Summer Comes Around? I've already said 1,000,000. 1,000,000 stars, 1,000,000 out of 10, 1,000,000% go and buy it. All of those kind of things. It's available, obviously, hardback, paperback, and on Kindle. If you can get the hardback, it's just so beautiful. Flame Tree really do make the most gorgeous books, and it is just worth having. I've got all three. I've got the paperback, the Kindle, and the hardback. But it just looks so lovely, and it goes with all of my other Glen books up there. So thank you very much. I think by now everybody knows that I'm Glenn's #1 fan. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.